Welcome to Pods with Posh and Paul, a podcast designed to inspire and challenge listeners through story, experience and insight. To face adversity, learn from suffering and discover how to embrace life with a heart filled with love and gratitude. We are so thrilled to have you journey with us and can't wait to share your stories. Join Sue O'Callaghan and Joanne Webb as we disrupt the theory that everyone has perfect lives. Hello on day 2 of COVID-19 lockdown. This is Sue and Joe from Pods with Posh and Paul, our podcast bringing you motivational, inspirational stories. And we today are bringing you our theme, which is goal setting. Today we talked about trauma. Yesterday we talked about trauma, but today we're bringing you goal setting, aren't we, Joe?
We sure are, because we like setting goals, don't we, Sue? And we think this is a great time to stop, reset, and to think what you'd really like to achieve over the next 4 weeks.
So I found a quote which was quite, I loved it actually, because it covers different aspects of our emotional well-being. And it says, if you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy and inspires your hopes. I quite like that because our mindset is quite important in this journey. I mean, for us in New Zealand, it's a 30-day journey so far. That's all we know of so far. Thoughts, your energy. I mean, we need to expend our energy somewhere, our mental energy, our physical energy, don't we, and our spiritual energy, and also inspires our hopes. How do we keep going during this time?
Have you got any goals, Sue, that you want to achieve over the next 4 weeks?
Well, I have actually, yes. I am going to run every morning, which I say on day 2, and I haven't done it yet because I need to go running every day. So I'm going to run every morning as of tomorrow. Tomorrow my goals start. But I did also say I was going to swim every day, and I have been sea swimming. We're really lucky here in Devonport. We both live in Devonport, and we are surrounded by the sea because we're on a peninsula. So I have been swimming, and it's getting colder, I have to say, because I know that many of you listening are in the northern hemisphere. We're in the southern hemisphere, and we're going into autumn and winter. It's getting colder, and I said to my sister, I'm not going to swim in the winter. So abruptly, she gave me a winter wetsuit. So I went in yesterday and it actually didn't feel so cold in a winter wetsuit.
Good. Well, I'm certainly going to set myself goals, but I'm not going to set them too crazy because I do also think it's a nice time to be grounded and to have some quiet time as well while we are locked in our homes kind of thing. And I can fill my days very easily with noise and fluff and stuff, and I can just keep going and going and going because I'm kind of a bit of an energizer bunny. So I am going to have some quiet time as well. So one of my goals is actually to meditate every day, which I generally meditate quite a lot anyway, but I'm going to really concentrate on it and put a bit more oomph and effort into my meditation. So that's definitely one of my goals. But one of my others is I'm going to get, I mean, I'm fit. I like to work out all the time, but I'm going to get really, really fit.
Oh dear, the thought fills me with dread. For people that don't know Jo, she's an ultra marathon runner. So obviously that fills me with dread. But anyway, there you go. I can't imagine you can get much fitter, can you, Jo?
Well, I'm going to just do it differently. So I'm going to make sure I do 4 weights workouts a week. So do different parts of my body. And like you, I'm going to either run or walk every day. I'm definitely going to get my 10,000 steps in every single day. I went for a run this morning. You'll be glad to know. So I did your run for you. And it was blissful out there. People were very respectful. You know, when you were running towards them, we were all doing the whole 2 meter thing or more. Yeah, and it was actually really pleasant, and there was lots of loud hellos from 2, 3, 4 meters away. People were very happy to be out and happy that it was such a beautiful morning, I think. So yeah, very great.
Our listeners as well with what your partner posted this morning about his exercise regime and your response. I thought that was quite funny.
Well, he wrote, because he was out walking, so he put up to a family group chat about what a beautiful way to start the day. I was like, no, you started the day with coffee being delivered in bed.
I love it. That's great. That's so good.
How do we set goals, Sue?
Well, I was just thinking first, what stops us setting goals? Often the thing that prevents us having goals is overwhelm. And I know that many people now will be in overwhelm. We talked yesterday about trauma, and right now I think people are sitting in confusion, trying to structure a day where they've got children at home and trying to work as well. They are maybe elderly, cut off, maybe in relationships where they've been split from a loved one or had to move back from university. There's so many different situations of our listeners out there. So I know that most of you are probably in overwhelm. How do you manage actually just surviving the next 30 days? You're overwhelmed by being isolated, shut off from your normal routines. So that's very normal. And that's something that stops us actually goal setting. And the other one that stops us goal setting is procrastination, isn't it? Just sitting there and just kind of thinking about lots of different things. So Jo and I are here today to encourage you today to set goals. But as you say, Jo, how do we do it? So I'm actually going to put that back on you.
Well, also, I think a goal is only going to be worthwhile doing if it's important to you. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So if you've got no passion for what you're saying or no self-belief that you're going to actually achieve it, it's not even worth setting the goal because you're instantly setting yourself up for failure. So again, it has to be something that's really important to you. Like, I want to meditate because I want some quiet time. I want some peaceful time. I need to switch off my brain because it kind of goes 5 million miles per hour. But also the exercise thing on the flip side of that, I like to be really physically strong because it helps my mental clarity. So the two go hand in hand for me, and they're both really, really important. So I know that I want to do it and I will achieve it because the passion's there. Whereas if I'd set myself, like I did say at the beginning, that I don't want to eat chocolate throughout these 4 weeks. Well, can I just say that was really lame? And if I really set that as a goal, I might not achieve it. Do you know what I mean? So, and it doesn't have to be anything like what we're saying. It doesn't have to be to do with exercise. It could just be, I'm going to make sure I eat 3 portions of vegetables per day, or I'm going to read 5 pages of a book per day, or I'm going to listen to 1 TED talk per day. They can be, the goal can be anything, can't it? It could be, I'm going to sort out 1 cupboard in my house every single day. Like I am going to do things like that as well, because it will make me feel all cleansed and refreshed, and it'll help the house. But it can be anything that's personal to you, anything that might either be driving you mad or that you've wanted to work on. Now's the time to just stop, have a little think about what it is you'd like to achieve it and why. Like we said before, I want clarity of mind, so therefore I have to have some quiet time. I want to be mentally and physically fit. So that they're my whys. And why do I want to do that? My main why is to be the best version of me so I can be as healthy as I possibly can for my children. That is always my why. When I do anything in life, it's always, is this the best thing for me and my family? Is this the best thing I can do for my children? That's always my driver, because they are so special to me and they are so awesome. So what is your why? What's important to you?
Yeah, so good. So good. But for those, Jo, that, I mean, we live in a beautiful area. We keep saying that, we keep emphasizing it. We're really lucky. We can go out and we can run, we can walk, we can swim in the sea. But for those people that are actually stuck at home and can't go out, what form of exercise could they do in the house?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things. Like literally, like I work out my clients on a mat. So you think about the space of a mat, it's maybe 1.5 meters in length and half a meter wide. You don't need a lot of space. You don't need equipment. There's so many YouTube videos. There's so much stuff on the internet. You know, look at Instagram pages. They're always giving you tips here and there. I am going to start putting some workouts on my Happiness Hustler Instagram page, which I think is called Jojo Web 4 or something. I don't know. You can find me under Joanne Webb. But I will start posting up some workouts again, because I used to. I haven't done it for a while, but I'll do that to help my little followers, which is quite cool. Awesome. And also keep.
I'm going to sign up to that. So can you give me the website at the end? Because I think I need that too. But as you say, you don't need much space, do you? So it might be.
You don't need a lot of space at all. I mean, like if you live in a house with stairs, run up and down the stairs 20 times. If you've got a chair, sit and do some tricep dips. If you're in the house, you know, run on the spot, grab a skipping rope, or pretend to skip even. You don't even actually need a rope. You can just still move your arms as if you've got a skipping rope. I've got things like I've got a hula hoop of all things. You know, think about what your kids have got and use them kind of things. If you haven't got weights, use baked bean cans, you know, to do your kind of whatever with your arms.
Do you mean with baked beans in, Jo? Can I just interrupt and say with the baked beans inside or empty baked beans cans? Or the big ones, the big huge ones, or the little tiny ones? But you can get little tiny ones. Those ones.
Those big cases and go like that.
Yeah, the big catering packs. These huge ones. Luckily, I've got no baked beans. Can I ask another question? If I've got no baked beans, does it mean I don't have to exercise?
Stop it. Do you know, it doesn't all have to be about exercise, does it? It can be, your goals can be anything. Yeah, but again, have a think about what's going to be important to you. Think about what's your why, and think about how good you're going to feel in 4 weeks when you've done this. So if it is cleaning out a cupboard in the house every day, or having a bit of doing all the skirting boards and the ceilings in one of the room per day, think about how cleansed and refreshed you're going to feel about at the end. If it's reading a book 5 pages a day, how much more knowledge you'll have in 30 days time. If it's watching a TED talk, again, that will fill you with knowledge. You'll learn so much more. You'll be more enriched. How will you feel in those 30 days? And think about that. That's the goal that you're going for. Love it.
30 days we've got. So I put into the internet, Jo, 30 days to learn. And this is what it came up with. It was quite interesting. What do you think the number one thing was? If you put into Google 30 things to learn, or in a day, what can I achieve? It comes up with 5 or 6 things, doesn't it? So they're always the top things that people are searching. What do you think number one was? Spanish.
Okay, well, I was never going to guess that. So I could have sat there with a stupid look on my face for quite a while. I would never have said that.
Well, number 2 is going to shock you even more. Number 2 is jQuery.
What?
That's what I said. What is jQuery? So I had to look it up. I said to Louis, what's jQuery? He said, I don't know. So I looked it up. jQuery is a fast, small, feature-rich JavaScript library.
Who knew?
Well, I didn't. So that's number 2. Number 3 was the Bible.
Okay. Number
4 was German. And number 5 was Adobe Illustrator.
I don't want to know about any of them.
Is that interesting? So that clearly is the top 5 things people want to learn in a day. Now, I also put in 15 things to learn in 30 days. And I've come up with the top 15 things. But I had to leave out the sports, like going swimming. So these are different suggestions for things you could actually do in 30 days, learning 30 days, obviously by learning online. Cooking, I think my children might send me towards that one. Coding, photo editing, card shuffling, drawing, learn a song. I think my children might say no.
Well, I'm just laughing about the card shuffling.
Not me, not you.
Anyway. I'll learn a song, I just won't sing it to anyone.
Foreign language? Now, this is a good one for you, Jo. Juggling. I think we do that very well. I think we juggle. I don't mean the balls. I mean juggle life. And I think for most of our followers, actually also, you probably don't need to do this one. I'm sure you juggle life very well. Dancing. So dancing is quite a good one, isn't there? There's many dancing apps on there, which I absolutely love. Sometimes I put music on and get a dancing app on.
I think we should learn a dance and then dance for our listeners.
Well, maybe you do that one.
While singing the song?
No, I won't sing the song. How to make a website.
Okay, carry on.
World War I and World War II were on there. So obviously learn some history. DIY for those guys out there that are listening who wants to repair their roof, mend a gutter, so on. A hobby, and last one was learn all the capitals of the world. Do you know quite a good way actually to learn the capitals of the world? Those of you that are following the virus, I listen to some news but not all of it. I don't want to be overwhelmed by it, but there is a really good website called Worldometer. Have you seen that, Jo? And it's got a list of all the countries in the world that have got the virus, and it's got the numbers, it's got the increasing numbers, it's got the deaths, it's got the increasing deaths, it's got the percentage per million. So it's quite interesting to see, because obviously you've got tiny little countries and then huge countries, so you don't really get an average per capita, but it's got the per million at the side. So actually, if you go on there, you can learn all the countries of the world as well. I mean, it's mind-blowing, all the little tiny countries. I had to look with my children, say, where's that country? Because some of them have got huge stats, and it's a tiny little place in the middle of nowhere, like the Faroe Islands, which are, I think, north of Scotland up there somewhere, aren't they? Greenland area. Huge percentage have got it. Greenland, none.
There you go. See? Okay, so we're kind of going a little bit off. But that's what people want to learn, which is pretty cool. And it shows how, how diverse it is, how your goals can be. We're just talking about such a small array of things that you can actually goal set about, but you can actually goal set about anything, can't you? Anything.
Yeah. And I think the key is to be really specific, isn't it? So whatever you want to do, for example, if you want to start running and you are allowed outside, instead of saying you're going to go from no running at all into 5K, you're going to set yourself small targets. Each day you're going to do a small amount and then you're going to build it up. The other thing I found really helpful for that, which applies to a lot of other things, is make it a measurable goal as well, so that you can actually measure what you're doing.
But this is what you're talking about. You're talking about making a SMART goal. So think about the word SMART, aren't you? So the first word is always specific. So you could say, I want to get fit. Well, that's not very specific, is it? For me, it's I want to do 4 weights workouts per week. That's what I want to do. It's more specific. Some people might say, I want to do a personal best of a deadlift, or I want to run 5 kilometers. That's very specific. You've put something there, which is you can.
Yeah. So you're not keeping it open-ended, are you? You're not just saying, I want to lose weight, and therefore you're not actually setting any measurable goals within that. It's too open-ended. What do you want to do to lose weight? Is it that you're just going to go without that drink in the evening?
Yeah, make it specific, make it measurable. So as you say, I want to run 5K within a month, which is more measurable. So you've put a limit on it, you've made it measurable. Is that achievable? Well, is it achievable? You have to decide that yourself. If you've got a certain level of fitness, if you're able-bodied and you can walk and you think you can start, running for a minute, walking for a minute, running for a minute, then it's probably very much achievable if you're going to stick to it. Is it relevant to you? That's where the R comes into it. And then is it timed? With the time is in your 4 weeks. So make all your goals SMART goals.
And for those of you that are listening that actually are saying, well, it's all very well and good, Joe and Sue, you've obviously got time in your hands, but I've got 4 or 5 children that are under the age of 6 running around the house. I can't do any of that. I'm actually in overwhelm. Then maybe make it a goal that you actually have some time out each day that you're going to put the children to bed early, where the children might be going to bed at, say, 8 o'clock. You're actually going to get them into bed by 7 o'clock. You're going to start the whole process earlier. You'll do dinner earlier. You'll do bedtime stories and baths earlier. So you can actually get them down and into bed by 7, lights out. So maybe you've got an extra hour in the evening to have some time for yourself, because your recovery time is so important. I had 4 under 5. Joe had 4 under whatever age they were as well. We've had young children. We know what it's like when you get no time to yourself. And if you can go for a walk, that's fine. But I know when you're stuck at home. And for single parents out there as well, we honour you, because we are both single parents. I've single parented for 16 years, and Joe for a long time as well. So our hearts are with you. And if you're listening to this and you know people that are single parents, just reach out to them, because it is a really lonely walk. You're on your own. You don't have adult company each day. And actually just to get a phone call, I think, is really important in the day. So goal setting for single parents, goal setting for parents who are on their own with young children. How do you do it? Set simple goals for yourself, and even goals for your children, that they will have an hour on their bed. I used to do this when mine was small, and some people used to say I was horrific for doing it. I used to say, after lunch, an hour on your bed reading a book, and go to their room and read a book. And then if they get bored, they actually they start to do things, they find drawings. But if it's routine for the month, an hour on their bed in their room, quiet time, you then can have some time too. So whatever it looks like for you, what's going to work for you, as Joe says, and make it measurable.
And you're right, Sue. We do talk as if it's just easy peasy, but it's not easy peasy. We've both got really busy lives, haven't we? We've both got 4 kids in the house. We're on lockdown. Yeah, our kids are older, but we have lived through the young years as well. We're both working. We're both doing our podcasts. We're both writing a book. We are juggling a lot. So we are not telling you this is easy. But if you want to achieve something, it's usually worthwhile, isn't it? So my quote is, Sue, your goals are your roadmaps that guide you and show you what is possible for your life. And that's by Les Brown. And it's true. There you go. It's just showing you what is possible. If you want something, and if you want it badly enough, we will do it.
Yeah, I think you can do anything. And I think you taught me that, Joe, when you did was your ultra marathon 50K or 75K? What was it?
It was just 74, Sue, just 74.
Oh, 74, sorry. It's going to be 100 this year though, isn't it? Terrifying.
Yes.
But what was I going to say? My absolute fear was swimming. I've mentioned swimming earlier, but I had a drowning accident in Borneo many years ago where I had a near-death experience, went in the white tunnel, died and came back to life, and it was horrific. So my fear was sea swimming because I could never be out of my depth. And then I said to myself one day, after you did your ultra marathon, if Joe can do that, I actually believe you can do anything, because that's quite incredible. To put your body through that is absolutely extraordinary. To think what our bodies can do. So I set myself a really small target. I said, I'm actually going to go in the sea, just in the shallow bit. And I'm just going to go in on day 1 and day 2 and day 3, just actually be in the water. I'm in control. I can come out when I want. And then day 4, I actually put my face under the water. And that was huge for me again. And then I used to be a swimmer. So putting my face under the water was such a big thing for me. And people out there be laughing because there's good swimmers out there, I'm sure, listening. But for me, to put my face under the water was a goal that I had to achieve. And then I put my face under the water and swam a bit. And now I just swim along the shore. I don't go out to sea like everybody else. But I'm actually achieving tiny steps. And now I can swim quite a distance, but I'm still not out of my depth. So it's actually, again, make it measurable, whatever you're doing, because you can achieve it. And I'm so pleased that I've actually overcome that fear. And it's given me self-confidence as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, how good do you feel that now you're just hopping in the water and you're swimming? How good do you feel?
Yeah, and so it might be that our listeners can face a fear during these 30 days. You know, maybe your fear has been to be in isolation. Maybe your fear is that you suffer anxiety, and to be alone during this time is your worst ever nightmare. That fills you with dread and horror. Therefore, what is it you can join online? Join a social group online, connect with people, connect in an anxiety social group where you can meet other people. And we do a series of podcasts, and we interviewed a chap that set up an amazing self-help group for male survivors of sexual abuse. And he said to talk about your feelings, didn't he, Joe, in that group was so healing. So if you suffer anxiety or depression, find a self-help group online and join it, and have a sense of being able to share those feelings, because it helps normalize those feelings of anxiety. It is normal that other people feel that as well. So connect with people in your tribe.
And go set a goal. Make it measurable to you, make it specific for you. And it's just something to keep you on track and stop you from going a little bit stir crazy over the next 30 days or more, isn't it? So I think it's all good, all really, really good for your mental health to set a few goals.
And Joe, what about those people that are listening that have got elderly relatives, elderly parents that are isolated? They used to visit them every day and take them food, and maybe they can't because of distance, they're not allowed to travel. How can we deal with that one? That's a big one, isn't it?
It's not really, I don't know if you can set goals around that really. So however,
helping your elderly parents to set goals around themselves.
Yeah, maybe keeping them even if it's just doing a crossword every day, or that kind of thing, or listening to some specific radio shows every day, because it's all about keeping your mind a bit active as well, isn't it, and keeping occupied so you don't go insane.
Yeah, so maybe if it's you were visiting them for an hour every day, is to find, as Joe says, a radio station or a good podcast that they'd be interested in, or audio is really good. I know on Amazon you can download audio, can't you? Listen to books as opposed to read books. Libraries will be closed, but that's another thing. Maybe you could do some research for your elderly relatives, and in that hour or the time that you were visiting them, give them something to do to occupy it. So they've got some goals, they've got some strategy to work with as well.
So what's our topic going to be tomorrow, Sue?
Tomorrow we are talking about isolation. And I actually think, like all things in life, we always talk about duality, don't we? There's good and there's bad, but actually we live in the oneness of it. We don't live in the two extremes. And within isolation, there's both good and bad, isn't there? Obviously. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, the aspects that are positive of isolation, and also the negative aspects, and how we deal with our emotions and feelings if we're in that negative aspect, and maybe how we can turn it around to be positive.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope that our little tips about goal setting have worked for you today. There's tons of information online. Maybe you do want to go off and learn Spanish or card shuffling, whatever floats your boat, go and do it. And we wish you well in these strange and wonderful times.
And if you're alone and you're really struggling, just don't forget to contact with online support, online help. Don't be alone, feeling desperate. Do connect for help online. Love, light and peace from Joe and Sue, Pods with Pot and Pool.
Thanks so much for being with us today. For us to inspire others to live their magnificently imperfect life, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or on your podcast app. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Pods with Posh and Paul. We can't wait for you to join us on our next episode. Love, light and peace.